Hello and welcome back to Podkast with a K. I'm your host, Carla with a K. You're listening to 90.1 WECS FM, and we're joined on this fine Sunday evening by someone you've met before, Rafael, and our new guest, Fernanda.
Hey guys, this is Fernanda.
Hi,
hey,
friends.
this is Rafael.
Fern, let's actually switch things up because we have a lot to discuss. We have a lot to go through.
Yes.
And I think that the first thing we should learn about you, since we've been playing around with the order of things that we learn about our guests, let's go ahead and start with a song. Give us a song.
I think I wanna introduce the radio to this podcast to Burnham. If some people haven't heard of him, he's a super cool guy. He started off on YouTube and he did like music and stuff. And I want to play this song.
That was Words by Burnham.
Yep.
All right, so Fern, let's get to know who you are as a person. What makes you click? What's your interest and stuff? So, first, most important question, what's your zodiac sign?
Scorpio. I am a Scorpio, November 13th.
Oh, snap.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a pretty, solid Scorpio, not close to any other cusps.
Yeah, I think in terms of all of the zodiac signs, Scorpio is definitely one of those that people like to make fun of a lot, or is very, known.
It's got a reputation.
It has a reputation, exactly.
Scorpio's bad and bougie.
Yeah.
How do you feel you relate to Scorpio characteristics?
I don't think I really do. I know that a lot of the stereotypes for zodiac signs is mysterious and I'm shy, but I'm not mysterious or
I'd say you're mysterious.
You think I'm mysterious?
Yeah.
Oh, when I met you, I read you as a Scorpio immediately.
Yeah, and I know
feel
they're very bold, and I think I'm pretty bold.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think most Scorpios I know kind of exemplify it. They're the reason why people believe in the zodiac.
Wow.
Scorpios are the reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that Scorpios are one of the cooler signs because they're bold. Because you're not overtly exaggerated about being bold. That's why y'all get read as being shy. It's just nah, if you don't have anything to say, why would you waste your time?
Exactly.
Yo, that's my favorite thing about
something I learned about myself this year.
Yeah.
With all the socializing that I've done, I don't really say a lot. It's not that I'm shy. It's just I won't say anything if it doesn't need to be said or if there's not a purpose to it.
Carla knows exactly what that.
Thesis. That's very contemplative of you.
I think
I vibe with
I
Scorpios.
pointed that out one day. So I'm referencing a day when I told Carla and other friends that were with us. What did I tell you guys?
I don't want to hear it.
You're canceled.
Yeah, canceled.
No, he said everyone had to shut up except for Fern.
Oh yeah.
Because I was no one's allowed to talk except.
But
Fern
then he
now.
specified that it was.
It wasn't because
more specific.
anything against you guys. It's just that.
But
yeah, it was just
there was a hierarchy of speaking.
No, I was because Fern doesn't really. She's very comfortable in sitting in silence, and she won't break it unless there's something meaningful to be said, and it's just frustrating to sit.
Yeah, you
in
said
a room full of people that are just squawking about nonsense.
You explained it later that you said it for the sake of something, but
yeah,
it was anyway. Moving on. What is your major?
I'm a new media major, and I am digital design concentration, and I am a film minor.
That's so much, dude.
That is.
Does that correlate with your interests and passions in life?
It does, because I am. Graphic design is my passion. You guys know that meme with the frog.
Hey.
LOL.
LOL. Dude.
Yes.
Oh my god, do not say LOL, just laugh.
LOL.
I hate y'all.
No,
Get
it's
out.
Lamau, actually. Limphao.
Y'all are kicked off my
200
podcast.
IQ thinking.
1111, my wish is that y'all stop.
Explosion brain meme.
Dude, 3019, brain level 7. Anyway, so it does correlate to what you're into in life.
Yeah, it does. I love... actually, when I was younger, my parents, they own nightclubs, and when I was little, they would go to design the posters, and this guy would design them. He's from Ecuador. He's one of my biggest idols.
Mm-hmm.
He does such a great job. He does things for Univision and Telemundo and all these different cool places, and it was just amazing to see what he could do with the computer, with Photoshop and everything, and how he's gotten better over the years. And it's inspiring to see somebody who never stops trying to get better. So,
that's so cool, dude.
Yeah, I love it.
It's kind of interesting then, and it makes it super clear that you do like what you're into. that your first song that you chose was by someone like Bo Burnham, who kind of exemplifies what it's like to be someone, a rising star in new media.
Yeah, in new media.
Because for those of you that don't know, Bo Burnham started off as a YouTuber doing skits and parodies, little songs and stuff. He had a brief following on Vine, but this was after he found success, because through his YouTube work, he got picked up for Netflix specials, and he used that platform to kind of like advocate for his things. He just recently produced, directed, put out a movie called 8th Grade about, being in 8th grade. It was really good.
It was really,
you
really good.
feel the secondhand awkwardness is tangible, dude.
Yeah, like I actually wanted to really pause and have a break between watching that movie, because it was just like
too
so
real,
cringy.
Too real.
Yeah.
I gotta watch that ASAP.
Yes, you do, because you didn't watch it.
Should have watched it before I had to write this poem about being in 8th grade.
Oh, snap.
Oh.
So,
interesting.
Poems about 8th grade.
Would have been
13.
Yeah, it would have been a good, I guess, reference.
Yeah.
Inspo.
That's definitely what you need to do as soon as we're done with this show.
Yes.
Stay up another 4 or 5 hours.
Yes. The movie's like an hour and a half long. It's not like the longest. It's pretty average. But yeah, it's amazing. And
you're right. He does exemplify a lot of the new media, which is like creativity. He does all these things.
Yeah, and
that's
always moving on to like the newest, most relevant platform. It's pretty cool. And he's been one of the, I think, best symbols for what he does, because even though what he does and says is controversial, it's not controversial. It's not scandalous, right?
Scandalous, offensive.
Yeah. And if people take offense to it, it's because they relate to it personally, but what he says always seems to be for the purpose of critique or satire. And a lot of people at first kind of push back, because like if you listen to the song, I'm sure a few lines in there hits you some type of way.
Like whoa.
But it's funny.
But yeah, it's very
meant in, like,
I feel like comedians as writers have
meaningful.
A lot of leeway when it comes to like the things they can or can't say, because a big part of comedy is social commentary, right?
Yeah.
And so you have to be able to talk about things that normally are like taboo and you shouldn't talk about them.
And I feel like the mark of a good comedian is whether or not they can stand behind their work, because like I mean, especially with YouTube, right, we saw like the whole it's just a prank, bro, look at the camera, nothing's here, shut up. And it's like, okay, but what was your end game here? End game triggered, sorry. But when it comes to comedians that, for example, like Bo Burnham, how they say what they say, and they very much like they're like, okay, and what of it? If anyone tries to push back against it,
they don't try to say sorry or try to appeal to the masses that are.
It's very unapologetic. Comedy is super unapologetic as a genre.
Yeah. I hate when a certain artist or comedian or something does something, and the media doesn't, or the masses don't like that, and then they immediately try to like say sorry. Why don't you just stand up for yourself and say what it is, that's what you meant.
That's a hot take right there.
Yeah.
But honestly, I agree. Whenever an artist feels the need to make an apology video and they're like, it's not, I'm sorry for what it is, I'm sorry that you were offended, I'm like, don't waste your time, man, because you
already did the action.
Yeah, and you're just going through the motions of appeasing the public.
Exactly.
And like,
it's just
all people want is for you to give them a show.
Like you have to take into account that like the public can be pretty brutal, right? Like as an entity, and like these guys, this is their bread and their butter, right? It's their career. So like if somebody is like backtracking or something, it makes sense that they would do that. Whatever they said or not, like, you know, that's a different subject.
Yeah,
but it makes sense that people would try to like take a step back and be like, oh, might be.
But see, there are lines that you kind of have to learn to toe, depending on your field of work. Like if you're in politics, you're gonna get away with saying different things than an actor would, than a doctor would, like stuff like that, right? And so kind of merging those two examples, Kathy Griffin, comedian who had the pictures of like a mannequin made to look like Trump and his head cut off, and she got so much backlash for that, right? Like people were mad. People were like, yo, is this a threat? And she's like, no, it's just a picture, right? And people were like, oh, but this is offensive, you can't. And her, like the opposition's defense was like, it's freedom of speech, you know, she didn't do anything. It was just, it was kind of a performance art piece, I think they called it, in like the article where she like said what she meant by it, which was just kind of to say, interesting. What if, right? I said what I said. And she got a lot of her upcoming projects canceled over this, and it's like freedom of speech isn't freedom of consequence, right? And networks and companies can decide who they want to represent them, but at the same time, like, it's where in art and where in comedy do you draw the line? Mm-hmm. Because what's the difference between that and a movie where the president gets killed, right?
Yeah.
Or a rap song where, because rap, of course, we've talked about before on the show, how there's a lot of like violence.
I think, but the thing is, like, we're not allowed to dictate that for other people, right? Because part of like all those freedoms is like being able to decide for yourself where you draw your own individual line and whether you want to consume it or not. And it's like, it's weird when it comes to like corporations and like whether or not they hire people.
Yeah.
But I mean, I guess they take their little statistics and whatever and find out whether something is like financially beneficial or not for them.
Right. It's very interesting to see events like this unfold, especially because when it comes, like we said, when it comes to different fields of work, the line seems to be blurred.
Yeah.
And but with Bo Burnham, like, he's gotten along with the most things, I think, because apart from his work, he as a person keeps a low profile and stays pretty out of the spotlight. He doesn't do much to attract the wrong type of attention. Whereas other comedians, they do what they can to like continue to keep the spotlight on them.
Yeah, exactly.
Because, you know, attention means audience, and audience means more sales.
Money.
This is true.
Money makes the world go around, doesn't it?
Amen.
Money.
And honestly, the inclusion of things like YouTube and the internet, as we've discussed before, again, it spreads like wildfire, and now everyone's opinion is loud and important and affects everyone else. Mm-hmm. There's so much industry, like, news when it comes to YouTube right now that's been going on. There's a lot of playing into cancel culture. And it's like, dude, could you imagine if Bo Burnham had released that today and not when he did forever ago?
Wow.
I don't think he would have been able to make it as big as he did.
I don't think so either. I think people are, it's very interesting. I think people are very all or nothing with things.
Yes.
And I do that too. If I don't like something, like, it could be like a little factor in something that I like and they do something I don't like, I'll just stop watching it. But it shouldn't be like that. We should always keep an open mind.
Yeah.
And, like,
we've talked about the art versus the artist a lot on this podcast with a K. And honestly, I've through these discussions, it's been cool to see which of y'all think what. And I think I've been more able to separate the art from the artist through these conversations, especially because Kanye keeps coming up like consistently.
Yeah, he just
the GOAT.
Like,
the bops are bops, but the man is.
It's so interesting. I think the most important thing is, like, I don't know, at least when it comes to me, like, if something happens and an artist does something that is not good, I try not to put my money into that artist, you know. I try to stop supporting them financially. I'll still like listen or whatever, but I just won't give my money to them anymore.
Right.
I mean, directly, right? But like by streaming them and all that stuff, you are kind of in a long, convoluted way supporting them. But I don't know, it makes me think of like the thing with Wendy's, where like there's a big Wendy's boycott going on, because Wendy's hasn't signed the Fair Food Act, and they and so they're not paying the people who harvest their vegetables enough money, and it's just like, it's like, if the food is good, what do you do? Yeah. But then that's a very direct, like, you're literally giving money to somebody who's harming.
That's direct,
like, marginalized for a service,
people.
Yeah. And for us specifically, you know, is like our community, our people. Yeah. And versus like, oh, you know, I won't give money directly, but, you know, I might stream it or something. Yeah. It's a complicated thing.
It is. And like on the Wendy's thing, where the line is drawn is crazy. Yeah. My sister and I watched that movie, The Founder, about the history of McDonald's, and we're like, wait. You mean this random guy stole the idea for McDonald's and screwed the brothers over? We're never eating McDonald's again. And we like made it for like a good several months without eating McDonald's. And granted, we don't eat fast food a lot, but like those fries, bro, those smoothies. I didn't eat McChickens for ages, bro. I'm pretty sure it was like half a year or something like that. Like, it was a long time.
Ages. That's almost a century.
No, but like when it comes to Wendy's, like I didn't know about this being a thing.
Yeah, me
and
neither.
Like dude, the 4 for $4s are probably one of the better deals on the market. And it's like, I was willing to draw the line for McDonald's at something that doesn't affect me or anything or anyone I know or care about. Because, like, ever since I think the guy's wife has, like, given money back to the OG Brothers Foundation or something, like, she's tried to make peace with it or something. I don't know. I watched that movie a long time ago. But with Wendy's, I'm like...
They just very actively, like, don't give a shit about it. And,
it's
like,
so much more
people go up to them
too.
and it's like the CEOs and all that, and they're just like, yeah, we don't give a shit.
Yeah,
and
it's
like,
actively hurting people right now.
Exactly. And I feel like I've kind of made it clear to myself that I care to some degree about politics and different things. And it's like, Wendy's not signing that is ridiculous, and like there's a political statement to be made there.
It's also a more direct thing, like we were talking about, not only on our end where like you literally giving them money, but also like when you say even if you did give the artist money, right, the damage that they're doing isn't necessarily by like not paying people like living wages or things like that. Right. It's like just the message that they're sending out there is like enabling other bad things to happen, right? So it's not like they're having a direct impact. Like Wendy's is like very clearly like not paying people what they should be paying people.
Yeah. It's wild.
But it's hard to not buy 4 for $4s.
I hear that.
Although it's easier up here because they're 4 for $4.44, and then taxes insane, so it ends up being like 5 something.
Yeah, basically $6.
Yeah, I don't have $6. I had $4.
I really have enough money for chicken nuggets.
I don't have enough money for chicken nuggets. But yeah, where we all draw our own lines is an interesting thing to discuss. It's very hard because
I would love to stop buying from Walmart. And like from buying like Forever 21 and all this stuff.
Yeah, I just don't have the money to shopping.
There is no ethical consumption.
There isn't, but I just
Henry David Thoreau, just go live in the woods, do your own thing.
You can't even do that anymore.
No, you can't, because the woods are all owned by people.
But yeah, I would love to stop buying from these big corporations because that's where all the environment's going to shit because of them, and just a bunch of like money, not treating their workers right. But
hold on, guys. Walt Disney just texted me.
Oh shit! FBI, Disney FBI, where you at?
The Illuminati just told me to stay right there.
It's very hard. It's very hard to not consume that when you're living in this society, this capitalistic society.
You really do be living in this society, huh?
Yeah, in this society.
All right. Very good discussion. I like this topic. Let's take a music break, and then we'll talk about some upcoming shows, and then we'll be back to talking. Rafael, do you have a song for us?
Oh, hell yeah.
Just to keep your presence relevant on this show.
It was time for me. Which one are we doing first? Spanish or English?
Whichever one you want, man.
All right, let's do this one then.
All right, we finna do some Maniac by Kid Cudi, Cage, and Saint Vincent.
Ooh, this song is so good, honestly.
It slaps
I'm about
hard.
to bless y'all's speakers.
Are you?
I'm about to elevate.
Your case is too fat. I can't plug this in.
It's all good.
Too thick with 2 C's?
Let me take care of
3 C's.
3 C's? Damn.
Give me.
It's actually thick with a QUE.
Chill.
All right, this is Maniac. That was Maniac by
Kid Cudi. What a good song.
Cage and Saint Vincent. Very good song. I like that. I haven't heard a lot by Kid Cudi recently.
Such a good
anytime it's like instant bop.
King.
Instant bop.
Legend. Pharaoh.
Icon. So this podcast, I think, is this lineup of guests is one of my favorites because you've heard us say a lot of like dumb things and like references, and it's usually these two fools that are the ones that play them the
environment in which everyone else exists.
Coming to college and meeting everybody. I'm a scholar here at Eastern, an opportunity scholar, and meeting all these other opportunity scholars, I think I've been more involved with my culture, especially being around all y'all, because we all miss home, but we also all miss like culture, our Mexican culture that we have back home.
Home.
Yeah, our home.
Yeah, no, I love our culture. I love our people. I mean, obviously, like everyone else, we have things to work on as a subgroup, right?
Definitely.
But
that doesn't take away from the beauty that is.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
I mean,
I saw a pickup line on the internet the other day from one of my friends from Mexico, and it said something like, ¿qué eres? La flora y fauna de México, que estás tan rica. Which means basically, what are you? The animals and like flowers of Mexico, that you're so rich, but like it's so tasty.
Yeah.
Good. Está rico. Good song. Shout out, Pebble. But yeah, I agree. Back home, I've had throughout the years an interesting array of friends from different cultures and backgrounds. But recently, I've not been fortunate enough to interact with as many Latinos as I have been here, which has been lovely, because this has something that I had kind of been out of touch with since I was like in middle school, because I switched schools in high school, different district, different types of people. The caucasity, am I right? No, but that's just the life I've been living, you know. But it's been cool because you guys are all also from different parts of the country, and different your backgrounds are from different parts of Mexico or from just different Latin American countries, and it's been very nice to learn from all y'all, because you can learn from everyone.
A cool thing about the scholars too is that we don't just bring our culture from like our home countries, but also the states that we're living in. Yeah. Because each one has its own like different little thing. Obviously, like a lot of us are from the South. There's a few of us that are from up north or other states, but everybody has their own like. Every state has its own culture too, right? And then the mix between our culture and the environments that we live in, and just all of that stuff mixes up to be something really cool.
Even the weird people who call water fountains bubblers or something.
Bro, who call parking decks
Bro, that's high
parking garages.
Dude, it's parking deck.
Who call bags bags.
I'm just kidding. Shout out to my lovely sister Noor. She's listening.
We stand.
We stand, Noor. Honestly, Noor.
I'm gonna watch you get them bags.
The blessings from
Noor's
Wisconsin.
got that bag secured, bro.
Ooh, yeah, secured.
Never doubt it.
But bubblers, though? Come on.
Bubblers. What the heck?
What
does that even mean? Bubbler.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Quick shout out to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, to the 843-295-88. Am I right?
Shout out to A-Town, bro. On God.
Customary shout out to the 336.
What is yours? 843. Mine is 843.
There's a 678.
Our phone codes are 678-404 and 770.
Interesting.
Kiss me through the phone. Shout out to like 2008
or
something.
999
I remember whenever I was getting someone's. Oh no, I was reading someone's number to someone because I was like giving them their number, and I said I realized it's 678, and then I was like, I wonder. So I said 888. 999, and then it took everyone a second to be like, wait a second, that's not a real number.
Wait a minute.
What are you? Speaking of Latino culture, just before we transition into a new topic, let's do another song, Rafael, because you said you had one in Spanish, so we might as well play it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Talking about culture.
Speaking of which,
this next song is by Reyli Barba. It's a really good song.
Desde que Llegaste.
We should also play La Descarada.
Desde que Llegaste.
I'm just kidding. No, go ahead.
We have a limited amount of time. I'm sorry.
Truth.
All right, song time. Ready? This is it. Here y'all go. That was Desde que Llegaste by Reyli Barba. Good song, good song.
That was such a good song. Thank you for making me listen to that.
It was
really, really good.
Song. Very cute, very cute.
We're just out here blessing people's speakers. Oh my God.
Of course. I very much have enjoyed the diversity of music. I thought I would still be here by next Sunday, and I wanted to do like a run through of my favorite songs from y'all segments, but sadly I will be back in NC. But just know I've enjoyed all y'all songs.
Just know.
Just know. Speaking of going back home, how do you guys think being here has compared to being home? Like, how have y'all's lives changed? How have you changed?
Interesting question. Because
what a segue.
We're at the end of the semester.
Segue queen.
I can't believe it's over. It's been taking a while for me to realize that it's over. But I think once I'm done with my finals, it's going to be like, damn, I really did that, huh?
Yeah.
I really left home like 20 hours away.
Dude, honestly.
And I'm out here.
I submitted my final project, and I was like, dude, I did not think I would get the chance to be here, to be submitting assignments once more, and yet here we are.
It's crazy. I was talking to a friend the other day, and I was like, it's weird because I came out here and like I've gone home a couple times already. Not for like 2 months, right, or 2-3 months, whatever.
3 months.
But it's so weird because even when you go back, I feel like it's not the same.
It's not the same.
Home's not the same.
It's not the same.
Not.
And there are things out here and there are things out there, and then it's like you kind of lose yourself, honestly, because like what was home for a while is just like,
you better never let it go.
Carla, I hate you so much.
You only get one chance. Okay, sorry, continue.
Yeah, that's so true. When I come back home, it's so weird because honestly, all of my friends are here. I really don't have that many friends back home, so it's like, oh, I miss my friends. That's the most that I miss from being here.
I'm gonna cry.
Yeah, I'm gonna miss you, Carla. I'm gonna miss you too.
You guys.
I miss you guys. It's weird. I don't know. Like I said, it's there are things at home and there are things here, but I don't know. I think that's my biggest thing. Like going home, things aren't the same anymore, and
I think we're not the same anymore.
Yeah, we're not the same anymore.
You and I are not.
Everything changes. It's crazy.
That's
nothing was ever the same.
Damn. I don't know how things are gonna end up after these 4 years, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah,
and between we're in a better place when we leave than when we got here.
We've changed so much in 1 year. Imagine the 4 years that we're here.
That's
when we have a
insane.
degree. Just trying to push the envelope now.
Yeah. If your parents are listening, they're like, "Wow, Rafa's such a bad influence."
My parents are listening. Hi, parents. Please
Hi,
ignore my
Mr.
dumb
and
friends.
Mrs. Pacheco, I'm sorry.
Did you just dox me on air?
Bro,
Again?
I doxed you like 1,000,000 times. I would say your full name. Right
I think
now,
I've
stop
said
it.
I
my
will
name.
say your middle name
Do not
and
say
how
my
you
name.
will die.
No.
I would say
Como te vas a
you
morir.
and Charlie's middle name.
Yeah.
But now you know that there's a shared middle name.
Yes.
Stop exposing me on air. I'm trying to be a cryptid.
Oh.
I'm the new
She's
Loch
trying
Ness
to be
monster.
cool and mysterious.
Ooh, like a Scorpio.
And
Channeling that water
wow.
sign quality. What was I gonna say? Oh, between the three of us, we all have such different lives back home, but there's also like certain parallels, right? Like, and there's a reason that we somehow managed to become friends. But I, for one, don't know what's next because I've mentioned before that, you kind of go into things knowing that there's an end game, right? And on the drive up here from Endgame, I'm sobbing on the inside.
You said it. I was like, oh,
I know.
3,000.
I can't say that word anymore.
I love you 3,000, Carl.
No one is allowed to say the number 3,000 in my presence
bro,
ever
every
again.
time.
You will dust.
I can't take any math classes anymore. I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark.
Oh, no.
She snapped. Ooh.
No,
Yeah.
but like driving up here was the first time that I've had no real expectations for anything. It felt like I've kind of described it kind of like life felt for a while like I was in a video game, right? Like just alternating between action and cutscenes. But driving up here feels like when you reach the edge of the map and the rest of the game isn't developed. Like it's just it's such a nerdy reference. I know.
Yeah.
But like it's nothingness. Like there's really nothing to expect. And so once I got here, established myself, I'm like, all right, new end game.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry,
yeah, that's
so
how
sorry.
I felt as well.
But
crazy.
at the same time, going home is a new experience now because I guess this is home now.
Because like here in college, we have like goals. Like every week, it's trying to survive each week. Whatever it throws at us, homework, exams,
our weekly
projects.
apocalypse.
You're just always on a constant
always
like
doing
movement.
something. Yeah, and
everything. Yeah.
you have a goal of getting your degree, but back
Yeah.
home, what's your goal other than
I
making
was
money?
so ready to leave home too whenever I
Yeah.
graduated
So
high
much
school.
money.
And I've always been this type of person where like once I finished one phase of my life, it's like, all right, on to the next one. And graduating high school, I was like, what do you mean I can't move on to the next part of my life? What do you mean I'm stuck here?
Yeah.
And for 3 years, I thought that was all I had. And I was like, should I apply for scholarships in Ireland? I mean, I guess. And I did, and I got them. But somehow I ended up here instead.
Yeah.
I'm glad you're here, Carla.
Hell yeah.
I'm glad
Same.
I met you.
Thanks, kid.
Damn, that's
Ooh.
some deep, profound shit.
My heart is like
Wow.
breaking on the inside from how cute that was.
I'm glad I met
Aw.
you all too.
Yeah, me too.
You guys are tight as.
You guys
Yeah.
are super cool. Like I said, I'm very appreciative of the people I've met and what I've gotten to learn, and I hope that's something I hope that's a trend that continues.
Yeah, of course.
I think my biggest thing with college is every so often I feel like I'm not the target audience for college.
Yes,
not in the sense like they're I don't know how to put it. I guess it's something that I need to like engage with on my own, like inside my own head before I like can really speak on it from an educated place.
Mm-hmm.
But from what I understand right now, it just feels like the stereotypical like college path is not something that I'm like really eager to follow.
Yeah.
I love being in my classes. Like I'm a big fucking nerd in that sense, and I love sitting there and listening to professionals in their field talk about. But like for everything else, I don't know, the whole social aspect of it, the emotional process of going through college and like discovering yourself, all of these things are just like parts of my life that I thought I had already like wrestled with, right, outside of the college environment, in the workplace. And
now you kind of have
and
to
now I'm
learn
just
to do
getting
that
hit
in
with
a
like
new
new
place.
things, bam, left and right, and like, oh crap, you know, everything that I had established back home, it's not here with me, you know, besides like what I've learned, what I've taken from it. So like that definitely helps, but not having like a foundation besides like my own person is definitely weird.
And I think it's also different because you're on the same page that I am. You also graduated high school in 2015. And so those 3 years, I think, were significant because it's like, all right, this is now the way that I interact with the world. And being back here, I'm like, this is so high school. Like, I feel like this might have been meant for 18-year-old me, but like, being here and having to like, the social aspect is one thing. Like I said, deadlines are a thing again.
Is like,
and
bro,
it's like, dude, I thought I was over this part of my life, and now I'm having to like, it's kind of like, it's not like this, and I don't know what a better analogy would be, but it's kind of like the big fish, small pond thing, kind of. But that doesn't apply because that means something else. But it's just kind of like, I feel like I've outgrown the page of life that I'm supposed to be on or something. I don't know how to describe it.
You think you're so grown?
I don't think I'm so
grown.
Damn,
okay.
Carla thinks she's an ancient.
I'm like a child.
Carla thinks everyone came from her.
I invented the world. Bold of you to assume.
The world came out of
I
her.
will snap.
No, but I hear what you're saying. Maybe college is like a good thing in the sense that like usually people come in those 3 years where they like are like discovering themselves.
By now you're supposed to be ready to get out.
Well, my thing is like, and so it's a good environment that like helps you go through the process of it. But if you've already been through the process, having to put yourself through that one more time is like, it's painful, I guess. I don't know.
It's a weird thing to try to describe.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Someday we'll invent, apart from like television and radio, there'll be a thing where you can smell across the thing, you can like feel, you can sense. This is the future.
You can just connect your brain to somebody else's and be like, check out what I'm feeling.
Big mood, bro. Big mood.
How you doing, bro? I don't know. You tell me.
No, but yeah. And what were y'all's expectations, kind of to build on this, like, of college, and how have they been met or been proven wrong?
I don't know. I didn't really have any expectations for college, to be honest, because I think I expected it to be more hard than it actually is, I think. I mean, it is still hard, but I thought I was going to be, like, in class, like, you can't use your phone. And, like, I don't know, if, like, we would have, like, 10 really pages to read.
Strict professor
or something like 10 pages to read a night or something. And I'm just like, nah.
Here's a book. Read it.
Yeah.
Come back at the end of the year. I'll give you the exam.
What's the John Mulaney thing where it's like, I got a diploma for reading books that I didn't read. And they asked me, did you read the books? And I said, yes, like a liar.
No, but I don't know. The professors are definitely different from what, like, you're promised or, like, spooked on in high school or other places. But I feel like a lot of people know that before coming in, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody knows that. But not all professors, right? Some of them are kind of hard asses, and that's okay, right? That's their way of doing things. But for the most part, the professors that I've had have been really chill, really cool. Like, I need some kind of help, or sometimes I'm just like, I'm not gonna do that. Like, I just don't think that that's gonna fit into what I'm trying to do. And they'll just be like specifically, I can think of one that was just like, okay, you don't have to do it. And,
oh my God.
But I feel like that's a relationship that you have to establish, you know?
Slacker.
Yeah.
You ask me.
It's like, you come in and you engage with the right people in the right way, and you can just be like, actually, I'm not going to turn that paper in. Is that cool? And then it's like,
no, that's not cool. Okay. Kids, do your work, please.
I just won't grade that. No, but other expectations, like Fernie said, I I guess I expected it to be a lot harder because I heard horror stories of people like going to college and they thought they were so smart in high school and they took their first exam and they got like a 62 and it's like it really snapped me back into myself and I had to do my work. But like I got here and I don't know, I it's just like the content is not that hard. If anything is hard, it's because I make it hard for myself.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I dig around when I shouldn't be digging around.
I feel like what throws a lot of people off is the difference in workload and what's expected of you with each assignment, because you might only have 2 assignments the whole semester, but they're significantly big.
I guess. Or true. Not or the way you tackle an assignment. Some people will be like, okay, read this this essay or whatever. Yeah. And some people will read it, and then other people will read it and then write notes about it and think about it, analyze it. It's different.
Like, my thing is that even then, I don't think the big assignments are even that hard. No. It's just a lot of it is just us learning to not dig around when we shouldn't dig around. But here's my like anecdote for that. My lived experience is like I'm in the stats class, right, and we get labs, and every time that she gives us a lab, I'm just like, oh fuck, another lab, right? And then I don't do it until like 3 hours before it's due at midnight, and then I'll do it in like an hour. And exactly. And so like. It was clearly very easy because I did it in an hour and I got everything right. It just, I've been stressing about it and like putting it off and all that stuff because I'm a moron. Not because it was hard. And so like, that's what I say. That's what I'm trying to say is that like the content is not difficult. It's, I feel like mostly we're here to learn how to like work correctly.
Yeah. Because you're not
gonna, or at least I am.
Life isn't going to allow us a chance to like dick around when we're out of college.
How many times are you going to say that?
Yeah, just like oops, I'm sorry I didn't turn in those reports on how many people are prone to dying on this ride. I was too busy watching Netflix.
See, to me, this has been interesting because in high school I did early college.
And early college is hard.
Early college is hard because you're 14 in college classes. So if you don't know what an early college program is, whenever you start high school, you're 14. You take high school and college classes at the same time. And the way mine was set up, the high school was on the community college campus. So we'd have 2 classes with the high school at a high school level, but it was still like honors, I think. And then you'd have 2 classes in college at the college level. And so like one of the most significant classes in how I like learned how to be a person in school was psychology. And that was, I think, my first exposure to like a different type of workload, different set of expectations. And it ruined my sleep schedule because I would be doing like, I would get home and do like my world history homework. I would do my English homework. I think I had that class too. And then by the time I started psych, it was like 10, 12, and I'd be working till like 2 in the morning. Damn. And as of then, I've not gone to sleep before midnight ever.
I think I was more stressed in high school than for my classes than I am here.
But I never pulled those like all-nighters or things like that. I mean, sometimes I stayed up a little bit late, but I was always like, yo, if I'm not going to finish it by like 1 or like 12, it's not going to get done.
It also kind of, it has to do with the way I work, which is I do procrastinate, but it's because I know that once I sit down to work, I work
But if I don't, by the day before the exam, if I don't know it, it's like,
I don't know it.
Just don't know it. But like typically I know it, so I'll go and take the test, you know? It's just like, I don't know. My thing is like sometimes I sit there and I complain and I'm like, oh, this is so hard, it's overwhelming, I can't take it, right? And that's very valid and true because like in the moment maybe I'm not in the best place to like bear the burden of all that stress, but like I think about it at other points when like I'm feeling better or whatever, and I just feel like we get babied a lot.
Yeah, and so that's what I was going to say. Whenever I was in high school, I didn't really feel it because I was still like a kid, right? I was like 15, 16, 17, whatever. And so like in that situation, I'm just like, oh, this is just kind of life right now. And then coming here, I was like, this feels exactly like it felt to be in early college.
They make it so easy to do the things that you have to do.
Yeah, and I'm like, bro, I thought this was going to be, you know, on a different level. Like, there's a certain prestige that comes with being like, oh, I go to a university, then, I went to community college. And I'm like, dude, I'm pretty sure like I said, that psych class was harder than the classes I've taken here.
Yeah. It also depends on, like, what classes you're taking, right?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the poor kids in, like, bio majors and whatnot.
Oh, my God.
Like,
that's
they're
crazy.
Really getting their asses kicked.
Rip in peace.
Maybe it's just because maybe it's because you're an arts major, Carla.
Yeah, I think so. Because I love what I do in my art classes. Like, it doesn't feel like work.
Non-STEM majors.
That's why I loved it. I want to fight you.
Bro, that was my favorite thing. That was so funny.
Were you trash talking?
Non-STEM majors?
Yes.
Your major's humanities, kid.
Yeah.
Bro, my major here in this school is classified as a science.
Oh my god.
In this school, we'll see what the world says to you.
Bro, honestly, I don't care. Like,
I have an associate's in
piece of
arts and
paper.
science. I've done both. I've tried both. I've decided what I've decided because I have the experience to make an educated decision. So, hair flip.
Slammed.
Call it trying to rose. How much money did you make junior year of high school?
Try.
Oh, sick. Okay.
Wow.
How much money did you make senior year of high school?
I actually made a decent amount
How
selling
much?
art
How much?
in senior year. I'm
Get
gonna
out of my
fight you.
Wow,
days,
yeah,
Carla.
Bro, get off my podcast.
Trying to roast you right now.
Don't roast me on my own podcast. Didn't we have this discussion the last time you were here?
No. Everybody has their own
Let's
way,
beat him up.
how they
Okay.
go about this. Oh God, no, please. Fern.
Toma.
Fern, not in the face.
You're
Yes,
outnumbered
I know,
here,
I'm
buddy.
I'm just messing with you guys. I have a lot of respect for art major. I mean, like, I love art. I can't front on you on that.
We had a whole podcast talking about art.
Yeah, I feel like art is such a incredibly valuable part of our society, and like so necessary, right? I was
Yeah.
reading that
It is
meme
so
out to you the other
necessary.
day. We be reading memes out to one
We be
another.
reading memes.
But
Yeah.
it was like, you know, people basically what it was trying to say is that people put so much emphasis on like STEM majors that they lose like everything that the humanity,
yeah.
arts, creativity, all those things have to offer, right? And so you get people who are like business majors, and they're like, yeah, people don't matter. Let's build the economy, which is like a false thing that we
Yeah,
created.
exactly.
And it's like,
Yes.
I mean, bro,
We play
Yeah.
into all of these
I
like
guess.
concepts and constructs that like we've made, and it's like, bro, we could just instead not.
but who's gonna pay for it, bro? The money doesn't exist, bro.
Okay,
It's
the
not
money's
real.
fake, bro. We
You can
invented
just
the
give
money.
it to people.
Okay, then what about the labor? Oh, well, people will provide it. Okay, but what about the money? Didn't we just go through this? But yeah, and what sucks also is there's not a lot of funding for arts
Of
educations,
course.
and people like
I feel
to
like
critique art,
especially
but
in this
people
country.
don't want to fund artists.
In this country, a lot of schools don't fund art. You can see all over the news, like it's always, oh, the arts program was canceled, unfunded. It's always the arts programs that are unfunded.
And there's always STEM scholarships, and anytime it's an
Exactly.
open scholarship, you're expected to do something STEM related, or at
Yeah.
least like towards psych or poli-sci and things like that. However, whenever you mention that you're not doing something like that, even communications, I've heard it's just kind of like, oh wait, you're doing that. You could be doing like
Damn, you're just wasting the scholarships money.
Oh my God,
God.
yeah.
Damn,
the
people
biggest
be out here
Yeah.
just spending money that other people could be using for good old STEM account.
Bruh.
STEM.
Oh my God.
These arts and humanities come with such a platform to advocate for good
Exactly.
causes. I'm like, bruh, what you're funding is that platform. But
Yeah.
alas, that's
If you just think about like the millions of dollars, billions of dollars that like industries that use art make, it's like you're really gonna try to shit on something like that.
yeah, and it's
Yeah.
always like, well, what makes you think you're special enough to be like that one that's successful? It's like, I don't need to be that one.
Bro,
like,
there's
once
so
you're
many
in
people
the
that are
industry, there's so
successful.
Yeah.
many.
Have you
jobs.
sat through the credits
credits-
and credit
Especially
scenes
now.
of like movies?
Especially now with the internet and social media.
Yeah,
Influencer
be
is
a-
an official job
You can
title.
be
yo.
like an entertainer on the TV,
That's
film,
that's
and the internet.
yeah.
Influencer is a bad word.
But like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, you
Yeah.
don't have to be particularly smart or skilled. Like, you can just exist as a person that knows how to market themselves,
Exactly.
and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
Anyway,
Sometimes talent is not necessary.
yeah.
Damn, that's another question though.
Ooh.
Shall we discuss?
Shall we?
discuss?
Shall we
Bro,
digress?
I got. You want to talk about this in your field, and then I'll talk about it in the things that interest me.
Sure. In my
And then-
field, I feel like one of the biggest examples that comes up constantly, especially with new media, is Kim K and the entire Kardashian general.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't hate on that though.
I am kind of, but
You
like
are.
I'm
Yeah.
saying, like that's one of the biggest names that comes up as for people that are untalented. It's like they just really knew how to market themselves
Exactly.
and make
And they
a brand from their name.
Bro, the way they went about building their like empire basically is crazy, and I feel like that deserves so much respect, even from just like a business side of things. Like, holy moly, that's crazy.
Yeah,
it's crazy
wild.
because people like to shit on Kim Kardashian because of her tape.
Yeah,
But-
but she made real tangible money out of like
Exactly.
something that other people
Should've
would have been
And then
destroyed.
through her
over.
Yeah.
comes her family's like
Exactly.
entire
Exactly,
empire,
that's a
right?
whole
Like,
empire.
Used all of that exposure to like, people are always shitting on like, oh, exposure doesn't
yeah,
like pay
exposure
my
doesn't pay the bills.
bills. Yeah,
Exactly.
Mom, I'm hungry.
But, like,
What's for dinner?
low-key, like,
Exposure.
damn, she gathered so much attention. That,
Yeah.
like, it was inevitable that she would like profit from it.
And see, this is precisely like that example. Like, what makes you think you'll be the one? She was Paris Hilton's assistant,
bro.
And now who's Paris Hilton? Who's
Paris Hilton?
Who is that? Some white lady.
I don't know her. But
and how about like on individual levels, like not famous people, but like people in your field that might lack talent?
There's a lot of people who, and of course art is subjective or whatever, we're not having that discussion, but there are people that know how to market themselves, which is, I think, the biggest thing. They know how to attract attention in a way that's beneficial to what they're trying to do. So some people, like, Instagram is huge right now, right? They'll be like, oh, look, I'm a photographer, follow me, schedule a photo shoot.
And they might not be good, but like they
so it's like, bro, I know you just have like the same lens that you use on autofocus with all the automatic settings, and you put a black and white filter over it. That's not talent.
Damn, that's some heavy
big shade, big
stuff.
T. But like, that's something that,
because my thing is,
also,
do you think those people are self-aware about that? Like, do you think that they know that they're not good and they're just really good marketers?
There's some people that are aware of the fact that they're good at getting the end result, but I feel like there's also people that value themselves based on their sales and based on their follows and based on their engagement and interaction. And so they're like, I mean, if I have the follows and I have the likes and I have the money, I'm doing good. And it's like, but
that makes you think about your own art, right?
Anything.
Like, how do you know if you're good versus if you're just good at like getting people to nod their heads yes at the things you put out?
This is why I think in arts education is important, because you learn how to gauge the quality of different products, and you kind of obviously.
Are you not afraid of that? Of like putting things out and like everybody around you is like,
for sure,
this is good, and then it turns out you're just like you're just an influencer.
I know they do, because I'll do that on purpose. I'll put out something that I did in 5 minutes. I'm not particularly proud of, but I know it's going to get like the likes and attention because it fits a certain trend. And everyone's like, "Oh my god, this is so cool! This is amazing!" And I'm like, "No, it's not. You guys are idiots. Look at this thing that I spent like 5 years on. That's actually good, and that I put thought and symbolism into." And then they're just like, nice. Anyway,
how about me? I think the same thing as Carla. I think the way you market yourself, it has a lot to do with how you garner an audience and customers for what you do. I don't really have any specific examples of this, but yeah, basically what Carla said.
It's that new media mindset.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought of that in terms of like writing, right? That like some people might be able to just like push their writing so well that like even if it might not be, even if it's subpar, like,
I mean, Twilight, am I right?
Yeah,
catches a lot of attention. I mean, I guess, right? But like,
I'm not gonna front. I used to be a fan of the books, but reading back, it's like this was just for popularity. The later books, they're not good. Yeah. They're not well written. The story and the concept might be there, but the writing itself,
the one that hooked.
That one was, because it hooks you. Yeah. Like that right there was. It might not have been the most eloquent of books, but like it's good enough to like capture an audience.
Yeah.
Subsequently, the rest of them
like
get progressively worse.
I don't know, because I feel like from my own perspective, I see people's work and I'm like, that's so bad, dude. That's so bad. How do you like, oh man, how did you even show that to other people? Yeah. And that's an asshole way of looking at it, right? But I think I'm pretty critical when it comes to like things that I respect and enjoy.
Yeah.
Just like carpentry or things like that. If somebody makes something that's like shitty, it's hard to look at it and be like, oh yeah, that's nice. I might still do it, especially if the person is like somebody I know, but then there are people who I'm like, damn, that's good. And then
see, I feel like a lot of our critique comes from our own self-critique as well. Like things that you are aware that you are working on and that you had to perfect. If someone else isn't putting that same work, it's like,
damn. We should play Fernie's other song.
Yes.
We shall. Keep talking because
we should wrap this discussion up, I think, and then turn on the song, because we're reaching kind of like a common point here anyway.
What's the common point, Carly? You want to point it out for us, or
yes, that
common point.
Critique is personal and subjective. However, there are
people who
there is quality.
Yeah,
and there are people that are able to surpass that by simply being good at.
My biggest takeaway is if you don't think it's quality, leave it alone.
Yeah,
that's how I engage with the world. I think it's like, because there are a lot of things that I don't think are good. Yeah. But like, you know, if other people like them, shit.
Yeah, like my dad's always like, do you see a badge that says that like you are entitled to critique anything, to judge anyone? And I'm like, dang, dude, thanks for dragging me through the mud like that. But also, I'm still gonna judge everything and everyone all the time. Always. Joke. Do tell.
All right, so there's this guy. He works for the federal government in Mexico, right? The joke is in Mexico because I learned it in Spanish. And he goes to a rancho, like some guy's farm, and he shows up. He's got his little badge on him, and he knocks on the door, and he's like, I came to inspect your property. And he's like, okay, yeah, you can walk all around here and right here. You just don't go into this fenced-in area. And he's like, listen, dude, I'll have you know that this badge right here, the one I have right here, says that I can go wherever I damn well please. So you keep your things to yourself, all right? I'm going to be out here, like, inspecting your farm. Uh-huh. And so he looks around, and he goes into the fenced area. And then, like, out of nowhere, a charging ferocious bull, right, is just, like, chasing him down. And he's running up and down, and he's screaming, like, bloody murder, help me, help me, help me. And the guy, the owner of the farm, notices. He goes up to him, and he's like, what's wrong? He's like, your bull is chasing me. Do something. And he's like, bro, just show him your badge. Just show him your badge.
I love it.
Just let him know. You can go wherever, bro.
Good joke.
Shout out my papa.
I'll quote you guys and say, lol.
Gang.
Lol. Oh my god, I hate myself so much. I apologize for this. I'm going to delete this from the...
Play the song.
Yeah.
All right, Fern, give us one last song to wind us down for the night.
For my last song of the night, I would like to dedicate this to my baby. He's out there listening to me. Noah Grooms. That's the cracker to my beans. I love him. Best friend. Water of life. Let's go. It's called Borderline by Tame Impala.
Can you keep saying those? I'm gonna keep writing them down so I know I have something to send my girlfriend later.
That was Borderline by Tame Impala, dedicated by Fern to her boyfriend.
Her water of life.
Her whiskey?
Her
I drink that all day.
Beans. Damn, whoa.
You're drinking that? What you talking about? In Irish,
got a week to go.
The Irish word for whiskey is water of life.
Damn.
You're welcome. I think it's Llegaste Beja. I don't know. Shouts out Jason. I don't think Jason's listening, but yes.
Shouts out
Irish.
Jason.
Carla wants to be a polyglot so bad.
Yes, I do, bro. I would love to learn every language ever, always. And I think that
so cool.
That's tight.
Sign language should be mandatory, and there should be a universal one that we all know.
It's so crazy that it's American Sign Language. I wish it was just universal. So,
bro, sign language is so cool.
I remember whenever I was like learning sign language because I felt like it. My dad knows sign language, but in Spanish, and there's signs that are different.
Exactly.
Like the alphabet itself is different.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's
so
crazy.
Like y'all can't see if you're listening, but like this is N in English and this is N. So there's things like that are like super basic, but there's other signs that are completely different.
I saw that from the perspective of somebody listening. I was like, this is N and this is M. Oh, nice. Oh, that's so cool that you showed us that.
Ellen Keller be like.
So in English, N is kind of like a closed fist with your thumb between your middle and ring finger. And in Spanish, it's like a closed fist and then your pointer and middle finger just point straight down.
Like a closed peace sign, but
a closed peace sign, but pointing down. Whatever. I don't know. You guys can look it up on Google, I assume.
All right, so what's the next topic of conversation?
Well, as we wind down for the night, as I've said 80,000 times, do you guys have any closing remarks, topics that y'all want to talk about?
Fernanda Iniguez Tiara.
Fern, you are our new guest. What do you care about?
Topics. Something I care about right now. I think I just recently saw this article about North Korea and South Korea and all the immigrants that are coming here, all the refugees. And I just wanted to talk about the difference between North and South Korea, how they are kind of like, between the both of them, they don't treat each other correctly, especially the South to North Korea. And I think it's very interesting to see how people interact with each other, especially knowing what North Korean people go through.
Yeah, that's a heavy topic too. And it's kind of like North Korea is, they have a lifestyle kind of implemented upon them, and like they just live the life that they kind of have to live. Yeah. So it's interesting that that's the way people view North Koreans, and it's like, bro, they literally did not have a choice.
Exactly.
You know, there's a lot of parallels in that. Obviously, there's, not when it comes to like a super authoritarian country that like locks you into its borders, but like there's a lot of parallels between like Central American countries and Mexico and those things, where like when we come here, we're not the same, right? And like we're often treated as the same, and then there's also underlying, you know, issues between our nations and our like nationalities, whatever.
I think it's just ingrained in ours, and you know, the countries. It's just ingrained racism.
It's hard because you know you want to make people like embrace one another as like a larger group, because we gotta stand together, right?
Yes.
But it's like, you know,
but it's really
after
crazy.
hundreds of years of like something going on, how do you just be like, hey, everybody, let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya and be cool with each other?
Also, unpopular take, Kumbaya is a terrible song. I hate it.
I hate that song,
like, as a composition, that musically it's terrible.
Like the
horrifying to the ear.
Yes, I hate that song.
Kumbaya.
It's so ugly.
Everybody hold hands.
Absolutely not. Fellas.
Kumbaya. Carla Pacheco. Carla did not want to hold our hands in prayer. She hates Jesus.
Let the record show.
Why must you continue to try to point me out like if I'm some sort of heathenist individual?
I just want to say that
here.
since Carla got to college, she has, first of all, said that she does not love Jesus.
I have not said that.
Let the record show.
Let the record show. She came to a Satanist church meeting with me.
Is that why you have that all that going on in your living room?
What's going on? I have a rosary hanging from the thermostat.
She got a secret tattoo that no one can see on her right shoulder.
The only tattoos I've had are Inkbox. They fade in 3 weeks. Please sponsor me, Inkbox. Rafael, you know lying is a sin. Whether or not you... I've never in my life ever done that. Please do not listen to him. This is blasphemy.
Tea, sis.
I just, you know, everybody who wanted the tea segment, that's the tea. That's the tea.
That's the tea.
Carla's a Satanist now.
No, I'm not.
That's tweet,
evolution
actually.
of Carla.
At God, please smite Rafael.
Thank you, college.
This is my one request.
Thank you.
My mom says shut up.
Oh my God.
I'm so sorry. Happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day.
Honestly.
To all the moms out there.
Moms are so wonderful. I feel like moms are the foundation of
You're welcome for existing.
Moms are the water of life.
Moms literally have the water of life. And I think, like, you know, none of this would have been possible without them, you know. So it's like, amen. God bless moms.
What a segue. What a segue, kids. I love this.
Yeah.
Are you serious right now?
What? Stop.
You're going to sit here and
Stop
say
being
that
weird,
after
Carla.
you decided to...
Oh my God.
He said, thank the Lord Jesus Christ for moms.
Oh my God.
Do you disagree?
I don't disagree, but I don't understand why you're saying
exactly.
it.
I was talking about how Carla came to
your
college
beliefs
and just
do not line up with that.
No, okay, just kidding. No, Carla's a very, like, good person, and I feel like she's a good influence for us and our friendships.
Good influence.
Right? Yeah, no, I think so.
I don't know if anyone can take anything you guys say seriously when it comes to me, because there's such a discrepancy between the thesis.
The thesis.
Just don't talk about me ever at all in general.
I want to talk about fake friends. Damn.
Ooh,
where your real friends at?
Damn. You're fake,
My
Ruff.
fake friends. I'm going to just start naming them out, like,
right now.
Their full names.
Do not,
on air.
please
Middle
do
name.
not do that.
Middle
I will
name,
cut
please.
this feed immediately.
All right, so
Absolutely
the first one.
Not. Bye. Both y'all's mics are off.
What?
Wow.
Don't be weird.
Carla cut my mic, so I'm not allowed to say people's names.
No, of course you're not. What? Why
I thought
would
you said
start?
You wanted the tea.
I don't want the tea. I legit said stop spilling tea.
All right, no, I'm
can't
just
stop
Everyone
spilling
that
tea,
keeps
the
requesting that
kettle
we have a tea segment. Kettle machine broke.
Tea spilled.
No, I don't think I have any like beef with people. I like everyone. I like people. I feel like people are so cool. Everyone's so different and like interesting and exciting. They all have
from
their
everybody.
own different
And even
lives.
if there's nothing to learn from somebody, it's still cool to
They've
be in
lived
their
so
presence.
much, have so much experiences that like you might not have, and even if you do have, there's so many things that you can talk about and parallels, and it's just like everybody's so goddamn cool. Like, I don't know. I can't hate on anyone because like I don't know, but you guys know that already. Like,
you were very
like people are tight.
Me and Carla sometimes we try to do our devious things.
I'm not
maybe not too devious, but even
I feel like the
I'm
worst
not
thing
the
we've
type
done
of person to like
steal his
TV, but honestly, even that.
And
no, but I'm
to
saying
steal
we
your
told
car.
you we stole it, so you know, all's well that ends well.
Carla stole my TV one day. She came to college and she's already stealing. Can you believe it?
We carried the TV out. To be fair, we didn't take the controller or the cables because we had every intention of giving it back, and we did.
They didn't take the controller or cables.
It's just a prank, bro. Did you not see the
cameras? You took the TV. We took the TV.
They took the TV, let the door close behind them, and they were like, "Oh,
what do we do?
We need the other things."
Because we thought you'd wake up, and we like
we're always dead.
No, you felt us. I thought you said you.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Us, but you didn't care enough to get up.
Oh, it's because I went to the restroom while you guys did that, right?
No, you were sleeping.
I was sleeping.
You were
Yeah. But I heard you guys and I was like, yeah, it's whatever. You guys did that twice.
The first time, I think you woke up.
The first time?
Yeah.
One of those times I was in the restroom and I heard you guys and I caught you guys halfway out or something. And then the one...
Which sucked because we told everyone else, we were like, yo, be quiet, don't say anything. We just left because we were feeling like
we think we're quiet. We're like, you know?
The worst stage
stop
whisper.
Whispering. I mean, stop yelling.
I'm not yelling.
Steal the TV better.
Steal the TV better.
No, but yeah, when it comes to like the beef stuff and all that, like I'm just, I don't know.
I don't have the energy to have beef.
Like, not even in the condescending way. Like, oh, I don't even like have the energy to like argue.
I don't mean that condescending. I'm saying
I just genuinely like.
I'm not saying it to be condescending. I'm saying like it just takes so much.
I'm not saying you are.
Out of. I feel like it just takes a lot of a person to feel something in general, you know?
Yeah.
Just because you have to put
emotions.
Emotions
I don't have
born to feel.
Energy. Yeah.
But like it.
No, and even that is like, why would I want to like argue or fight with you?
Yeah,
or, like,
exactly.
be in a bad place with you when like we cannot do that.
Exactly.
Why would we do this when instead we could not? Like my thing is just like if you want to talk to me, if you want to chill with me, I'm not gonna turn anyone away. Like that's just who I've tried to be honestly, as a person, always, forever.
Like shout out to everyone right now, but like. I feel like I'm a really friendly person, and whoever wants to approach me, I don't know if I come off as approachable. I think I do, right?
Sure.
But like I'm so down to be friends with anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hit me up. I'm friendly.
Yeah. Hit me up.
My friends.
I'm maybe not. I'm not for you, maybe, but like I'm also not as cool as you might think I am.
Yeah.
And if you don't think I'm cool, I'm still not that cool.
Oh my god.
But I feel that
I'm
heavily.
down to hang.
I feel that heavily. I think I've learned that, especially being away. There's a lot of bad things that are going on in life, but why use more energy to make a situation worse when you can just relax.
Having friends builds you up. Having enemies tears you down. It's like,
and it's an active and like to have beef with someone.
Yeah,
like
and like
Javi said in our last episode, just stay in your lane, bro.
Yeah.
Having what's it called? Having when you can't let go
Shout
of something.
out Javi.
Grudges.
Dude's
having
legend.
grudges takes so much out of you.
King.
Why waste so much energy doing that?
Legend.
Yeah.
Royalty. Hell yeah.
Letting go of grudges is like the best thing ever.
Bro, a blessing.
Yeah.
I learned that as a kid, and I feel like it was one of the greater life lessons that I learned.
Yeah. Another thing Javi said, everybody eats, just not at my table. Like, I don't have any ill will towards anyone.
I was telling you, like, whenever people do get to a point where they like their presence is like bothersome to me. Yeah. It's like I don't have direct beef with you. Like you go grow and become a great person, but like on your own, far away from me, you know, because I know that like you're going through a process where like you're gonna hurt the people around you, and I don't want to be around.
Like my thing is, I'll help you out, but don't expect to be other people's responsibility. You know, like accept that everyone's their own individual, growing on their own terms as well.
Damn. Are you trying to at me, Carla?
I'm not trying to
Is this
Rafael.
the thesis?
This is not the thesis. Rafael, be a better person.
Yeah.
Me at myself every morning when I look at myself
in the mirror.
Oh,
look
at that guy.
We've had a lot of good talks on the show.
We have. I've really enjoyed. I've had a good year. It's been pretty stressful at times and really like hard.
Yeah, it's been very stressful.
Crappy.
Yeah.
And like low key like didn't want to like keep going at certain points, but I'm really like I as is usual like later down the line I'm really glad that I did because you know things are good.
Yeah, and you learn from those experiences, so
hell yeah,
whether good or bad.
Hell yeah.
See, this is why I love having this opportunity to have a radio show and to do what I want, because this podcast has been so beautifully and amazingly eye-opening.
To document things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's important.
Like our progress, our path through life, because we're still growing, right? Like I'm still a moron at a lot of things.
Like we're gonna listen back to the recordings of this show and be like, Jesus Christ, we really used to think like that.
Yeah.
Like, wow, what
the worst.
Yeah.
Hey, at least I knew I was an idiot. I'm gonna say that. Like, at least I was self-aware.
You can't go ahead and add a disclaimer for your future self.
We're breaking the fourth wall right now.
What you 5-10 years from now is listening to this? What are you saying?
5-10 years from now listening to this, I would probably have wanted myself to know what I'll know in 5 to 10, 15 years, so that I wouldn't be like wasting my time saying things that didn't matter. Because I feel like
But say something now that you would like to tell yourself in 5 to 10 years.
In 5 to 10 years, I'd like to tell myself, you're on the right path. You're on the right track. You're doing the right thing.
How do you know?
I won't know until 5 to 10, 15 years later.
Damn.
But that's what I hope I'll be able to say to myself.
I like that. How about you, Fernie?
Something to think about. I think I would tell myself, just keep swimming.
Profound.
Yeah. Yes, profound.
Get it deep like the ocean.
Yes. Oh my God. Carla, stop.
This is what I'm talking about. That symbolism, that meaning, art.
Let Fernie talk. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
She wasn't done. Stop
I wasn't done, Carla. I'm just kidding. Yes, I think just keep swimming. Don't hold grudges. Have fun. I think the most important, that's something that I learned this year as well, is just try to be happy and try to make others happy. Just have a good laugh. That's something important to me, is like comedy. That's why I played Burnham, because I love comedy. I think it's a Robin Williams quote. And it's I think the most important thing in life is to make people laugh and find the joy in like life, because that's all we got. So we can't stay here and holding grudges and being angry at people. Yeah. And it's hard to not do that sometimes, but still, you have to keep swimming.
Have you guys ever done that, like written a note to yourself in the future or something like that?
Yeah, I've never in my life kept a journal, so don't look for them, but I used to journal, and I read back what I used to say, and
hypothetically speaking.
If I kept a journal, I would hypothetically also read back on what I hypothetically said in the past.
But did you say anything to yourself in the future?
I wouldn't say anything like, hey, future me, what's up? But I would say, I hope when I read this back, I'll think this.
At one point, I did a mindfulness institute, and it was like an 8-week course. And at the end of it, I think it was at the end or at the beginning, I don't remember. But at one point in it, we wrote a letter to ourselves with like our intentions for ourselves and all these things, right? Not expectations, because expectations can be heavy and difficult, and like they just, when you don't meet them, they bring you down. But I wrote a letter to myself, and I got it like months later, close to the end of the semester, and I wrote it before knowing I had the scholarship, and I got it after I knew I had the scholarship. And I think the first thing I told myself was like, I love you, right? Because you gotta love yourself. And then like something first that I always try to tell myself, and it's a callback to something we talked about already, is like that it always gets better, right? Like you said, just keep swimming, because it eventually gets
always
better.
Keep fighting.
And
in the moment, things can seem so overwhelming and impossible, and you just want to quit. And like, but if you do make it through things, and then you get to have those good moments, as few and far between as they might be, you think back to the hard times, and you're like, it was worth it, and it was okay.
Now that you mentioned that, I think that's something else I would like to tell myself in 10 years, 5 to 10 years, is there's always a way. That goes back to something that my mom said. Shout out, mommy. Siempre hay una manera. So there's always a way. Sometimes it's hard to find that way, but especially since you mentioned the scholarship, I never thought I was going to college, and I'm sure you felt that too, because it was like
meet the
so
scholars.
hard.
That's what this podcast should be called. Meet the scholars.
It was so hard to try to find a way to go to college, but we found a way to go to college.
Let Fern speak.
We are. Yeah, shut up, Rafael.
Maybe that was awfully what is it? Patriarchal of me.
Y sigue.
Y sigue. ¿Ya acabaste?
Ya, máteme.
Échame a la calle.
Haz con tu programa, amiga.
Hey.
Shouts out my boy Yash.
We've been trying to fit in a reference to Yash for so long. Thank you for doing
Love
that.
Love the kid.
Shouts out Yash. And also shouts out Yessi, because
shouts out, bro. We shouting
shout out Yessi.
Shouts out Myra. Shouts out all the CCE squad, bro. Italo, Saida, Javi, Adrian.
Well, we are reaching the end of our time regardless. So, Fern, if you'd like to finish your point.
Oh, yeah. As I was saying before I was rudely interrupted, something my mom said is there's always a solution to something, even if it's not directly in your face. There's always a way to do something. Different ways to go about things. And that's something important that I'd like to remember forever.
I agree. That's a very nice sentiment.
I like that.
Anyway, thank you so much for being on my show, kids.
Thank you for inviting
me. Thank you all for listening.
It is your pleasure.
You guys have been day one fans of the show.
Gang.
Supporters of the idea. I think you guys are like always listening to it as well, right? When you're not in the studio.
We always have our little parties.
Listening parties always
listening
in my house.
Every time.
And thanks to all y'all who've been listening. Those y'all that I know. Those y'all that I don't, because anyone could be listening to this. Shouts out to you if you decided to like start tuning in regularly. Find Sunday evenings at 11. Because this has been fun for me. This has been something that I've wanted to do like for a long time, and I could have just done it on my own, right? Like just done my own YouTube, SoundCloud, whatever thing. Yeah. But being able to do it on a platform like this has been fantastic.
Yeah,
honestly,
shout out to Eastern.
Shout out to Eastern. Yeah, I'm so
happy. It does
happy.
So much to like help us.
Being
and,
here saved my life, dude.
Yo,
this is amazing.
Shouts out Dr. Nunez.
Shouts out Dr. Nunez.
My idol.
Queen,
royalty.
Reina.
Shouts out to everyone that supports us and what we're doing.
Amen.
And to anyone that is still learning to do so.
That's true.
I feel like that's a good statement. And on that note, I think we bid y'all farewell. Have a fantastic summer. I'll talk to you in August. Oh my god. Endgame. We unfortunately do not have enough time to discuss Endgame, but just know my heart is broken and I don't accept anything that happened in this movie ever at all.
All right, everyone. See you next semester.
Farewell,
Bye-bye.
friends.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. This has been Podkast with a K. I've been Carla with a K, and we'll see y'all next year. Same time, same station.
Same year,
I'm hopefully
actually.
keeping... next year.
Semester.
So same year, same station, same time. And yeah, we'll see y'all in August.
Last word.
What? That's it? That's all you wanted?
I just wanted the last word.
You're not going to have that satisfaction.
Last word.
I swear to God. I will cut y'all off as soon as I have the last word. One last shout out though, just because I remembered that we totally saved our advisors, dude. Bill and Maribel. Shouts out. Big shouts out.
Oh my God.
Okay, on that note of such idols, such inspirations, such queens and kings. Goodbye. Here is my last word. Good night.